I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Yeah, that pretty much just sums up a lot of it, doesn't it, Bill? Welcome in. It's the Daily Puck Drop. We go live every single day on Twitter, YouTube, the Puck Sports mobile app. Download the Puck Sports mobile app if you have not done so as of yet. You can listen to the show. If you're like, I can't stand looking at your face any longer, I'd like just to listen to you live, you can do that. Puck Sports mobile app. Download it to your iPhone or your Android phone today. All right, coming up on the show today, jam-packed show, Mitch Unfiltered. It's Thursdays. He'll join us in a few minutes live. Best part about this one, this is Mitch Unfiltered, Chapter 9 of KJ Arndt's, and this is Part 2 because we already did a show. Now we're going to do it again. And we're going to talk to Jerry Brewer, Seattle Times, coming up after we talk to Mitch, and then Mike Garafolo, a brief little visit with Mike. We are a week away from the Seahawks training camp getting underway. We'll talk to Garafolo coming up for about 10 or 15 minutes. Just a little phone interview with Mike today, although you will see his pretty little face on there. And then, of course, we wrap up every show with Hey, What the Puck. All right, we are broadcasting from the Limback Lumber Studios. Contractors that got free deliveries, everything from whole house packages to homeowner DIY projects. They've got the largest stock moldings in the Northwest. They've got old school service. Why? Because they've been doing it, kiddos, since 1930. Give them a call, 206-782-3487. Visit them online at limbacklumber.com. Follow me on all the social media platforms as well. Puck Sports there on Twitter and Instagram and Blue Sky. Puck_sports there on TikTok for our video clips. And Facebook, you can search Puck Sports. Also, pucksports.com. When you're there, you can sign up to become a Pucks Posse member. $5 a month gets you access to everything. All the free content we do daily, plus all the bonus content as well, including our Thursdays visits there with Mitch. The Sports Pit, which is out now. This episode that came out after the Home Run Derby with Steve Sandmeyer, Matt Stretch Johnson. It was a hot one. One, because I did it outside in the sun and I was burning up. Also, you get the Wednesday visits with one and only Ryan Divish, our MLB insider, head coach of the Havre North Stars, and now taking a sabbatical. But he'll be back in August. Quickly, before we get to Mitch Unfiltered, quick shout out to a buddy of mine, because it was a hell of an event last night. Drove up to Bellingham yesterday afternoon to go watch one of the, I didn't even know this. Like, you hear about the Cape Cod League all the time, how great the Summer Cape Cod League. Apparently, the West Coast Baseball League is like the second best one in the country. And one of my best friends from college, his son was playing in that last night. Shout out to Gavin Poffenroth. And some D1 school is going to give him an offer at some point. He was playing on the South team in the West Coast All-Star Game, which was broadcast, I believe, on, I don't know if it was on MLB Network, but it was like an MLB Network app or MLBnetwork.com. And he was great. Started in the game, batted eighth, got on base, was 0 for 1 with a walk, scored a run, played in left field. He was the only, he goes to Skagit Junior College. He's the only JUCO player that was playing in that game. For this, it's the summer ball teams like the Portland Pickles. John Ryan owns that team. Just all these teams around the area, teams in Edmonton, all up and down on the West Coast. It's the premier West Coast summer baseball league. Only JUCO player there. There was a bunch of kids from UW, Oregon, USC. First of all, the UCLA's got a kid going there that's just a monster. He was 18. This kid is just a freak, and he held his own. Old Gavin Poffenroth. So listen, hey, Wazoo, anybody, UW, I don't care who you are. God, look him up and give him a scholarship offer. It was a really, really cool event in Bellingham. I think I'm moving up there. What the hell of a town, for God's sakes. What a stadium, too. Joe Martin Stadium, never been there before. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's say it's if our next guest has ever been there. Because this is part 2 now of KJ Arndt's Chapter 9. Because the first episode, the first taping of it went really well. And it wasn't my fault, Mitch Levy.
I have a question.
It wasn't your fault.
I have a question.
Hey, your lighting is better this part 2.
I didn't do anything with the lighting. This is all on your end. I have a question.
Yeah, what do you got?
When I'm in the waiting room backstage and you're doing your spiel on all the ballparks and all the minor league and summer ball stuff that you just were talking about,
Yeah.
can you see me? Like if I was shooting you my middle finger, can you see? If I pick my nose a couple of times before we start the show backstage, you can see that?
Yeah, I see all of it.
Okay, good. I got to be careful then.
Yeah. I see you taking the picture every time.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I don't go to you until I see you put the headphones on. And when you put the headphones on, then I go.
I see. Boy, this is behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
This is much better, much less distracting than part 1 of Chapter 9.
Part 1 of Chapter 9, which I still have at some point, needs to be released. At some point. Why?
No, that's for you and I only. You and me only. That's it. Nobody sees or hears from part 1 of Chapter 9. Absolutely not. I do not sign off on that being released.
Probably 15 minutes or so into it, maybe 20 minutes into it, 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
You had a fire alarm go off at your place. And I'm
here.
Get out.
I'm here. I feel good. There's nothing wrong with me. No fire.
We thought it was just like a test, but it wasn't a test. Was there something going on?
No, there was nothing going on. Right. Everything is fine. I've had a tough week. I've become the punching bag of everybody all-star break. I feel a little bad about that. I'm feeling like I should have deleted. Can you delete a tweet after you send it? Are you allowed? What's the ruling on that?
You can't. If the tweet makes you look dumb, or not dumb, but you got something wrong.
Yes.
You don't get to then take it down because you were wrong. Now, because it's, live with it, own it, wear it. God, this stupid game that people in this business play, like at the end of the year, there's going to be an award ceremony of how many things you got right and got wrong. Sure. God, I hate that. Who cares?
You don't realize I care. And let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I care. This is a perfect explanation and reason why I end up number 2 on all-time lists. If I delete the tweet and maybe Jim Moore doesn't see it, maybe I'm number 1 next year on the all-time.
Yeah, Graz and Gas, I'll tell you, would never make a mistake that you made with Cal Raleigh.
Oh, God. And I don't know do people even understand what we're talking about? I don't know.
I can share the tweet again if you want.
No, Jesus. How do you do that? What are you going to do? What do you have, a screenshot of it?
I can do it if you want, yeah.
Oh.
Well, hold on, because can you still play the audio of our bet? Yeah,
well,
see, that's what I don't like.
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to come through. Should we try? I don't know.
Yes, we should try it.
Are you going first or am I going
first? I'm going to go first.
For your listeners who have no idea what we're talking about, it's all ESPN's fault.
Yeah. So, Mitch, this is what Mitch Levy shared.
I have an explanation.
On Twitter before the home run derby. My gut, Cal's decision to have his dad pitch to him in the derby is a heartwarming and wonderful idea.
It was. But
makes it less likely he'll advance.
So what is the tweet account or Twitter account that posts all the bad predictions?
I think it's called Freezing Cold Takes.
They had a field day.
Did they?
With good old Mitchie the Kid, yeah.
Yeah, well, you made it. You made it.
I really almost deleted that tweet. I wanted to delete the tweet, but I figured if I deleted the tweet, you would be on me on our Thursday KJR.
Where did it go? Because I bookmarked it right away.
I had a little Puckett on my shoulder going, don't you dare. Don't you dare. So can I explain why I wrote that tweet? First of all, there's a few reasons. There's 2 reasons. 2 reasons. Well, maybe there's 3. I didn't want Cal Raleigh to get past the first round. I'm just going to say it. I'm a Mariners fan like everybody else. I really want them to make the playoffs. I really don't want them to waste one of the most historic years in the history. Forget this franchise, any franchise. We're finding out that Cal Raleigh's having the best year of a catcher than anybody in the history of baseball. I don't want them to squander that. So, yeah, I am of the opinion, and it's not because I feel like the home run swings hurt his swing. I just would like to see the guy get some rest. He doesn't play right field. He doesn't play first base. He's crouching behind the plate. I'd like to see him a big factor down the stretch. Yeah, I'm an old fuddy-duddy. I'm old. Get off my lawn. I was hoping that he'd have a little bit more of a relaxed couple of days. I was not rooting for him to get through. Okay.
Yes.
So that's reason number one. The bigger reason, and I don't know if you know this, well, first of all, I thought that the home run derby was at 4:30. I don't know why. I thought it was 4:30 Pacific time. I come home from the golf course, and my wife announces she's got plans for the evening. My son, who's with us for the summer, was working that night. So here I am by myself. We've got the home run derby. I'm a little excited for it. It's kind of one of those things that I get excited for, and then in the middle of the first round, I'm like, this is boring.
You and I are exactly the fucking same.
I hate it first round. All right, but it was a good idea. On paper, so I'm thinking, what am I going to eat? I'm going to treat myself. So I go across the way to a poke. Do you do the poke bowl thing? Are you a poke bowl kind of a guy?
I'm built by poke, yeah.
Built by Poke. Well, you have a choice of 2 proteins or 3 proteins in your bowl. I went all out. It was going to be a Tuesday night to remember. Monday night to remember. I went all out. I got the 3 proteins.
Oh, living large.
I went triple octopus.
Oh.
I got 3 helpings. I love octopus.
A little chewy.
I love chewy. Rubbery. I love that. Okay. I love the consistency of octopus. I got 3 helpings of octopus, the white rice, the crab meat, the edamame, the crunchies, had the whole thing. I was ready to go. I sit down thinking that it starts at 4:30, and when I turn the TV on at 4:30, Puck, I see ESPN's in sort of a pregame show.
Mm-hmm.
And what do I see during the pregame show? There's a live shot of Cal Raleigh's dad throwing him batting practice balls to warm up. And they show about 6 or 7, you're laughing. They show about 6 or 7 pitches. Oh. And I swear to you, God loved Todd Raleigh in the story. I love the whole story. I love the father-son story. Anybody who's ever listened to me knows the father-son story, what it means to me. Todd Raleigh couldn't throw the ball over the plate in batting practice. I swear I saw 7 pitches and Cal couldn't swing at one of them, or maybe he won 1 of 7. And I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be a disaster. He can't throw a strike. Maybe he hasn't thrown to Cal in a long time, except for that practice thing that they did at team. So I wrote the tweet. I got myself in trouble. I wrote the tweet thinking that he was going to be out fast, thinking that I got a little bit of info from ESPN on the batting practice live shot. I wrote the tweet. Had I not seen the live shot of the batting practice of Todd Raleigh struggling to get the ball over the plate, I would not have written the tweet.
And how close were you to deleting it?
Not really that close.
Yeah. You can't delete it.
Well, I mean, then here's the other thing. And I'm going to cry a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead. It's lay down and cry. This is your time.
All right, let me cry a little bit. He gets in the second round. How? Is anybody discussing that they put him in the second round?
You be careful what road you go down criticizing how he got in or who he faced.
Okay.
Because you don't want to go down this road.
I know.
You don't want to go down this road, buddy.
Did they really say on ESPN that he got in because his home run was 1 inch further? Really? We have the technology to know that his home run was 1. This was not Major League
Baseball. Of course we do.
Oh, come on. We do not.
Come on. We've got the ABS, the automated balls and strikes thing showing you a fraction of it, whether it's a ball or a strike.
No. This was Rob Manfred sitting in his seat at the ballpark on his phone calling to the executive saying, put Raleigh in the second round.
And I'm glad he did it.
Raleigh in the second round. That's
I'm glad he did it. America's glad he did it.
You bite your tongue when he goes 0 for 12 in the Astros series.
And you know what I don't want you to do, because I just there's this group out there that is just waiting for him to struggle. But I'm not gonna. I don't think you're not in that group. I don't think you're in that group.
Oh no, you mean like rooting for him to struggle?
No. I know you're not in that group, but there is a group out there, and they claim to be Mariner fans
that are rooting. Nobody's rooting for him to struggle,
but they're rooting to be right that he's going to struggle out of the gate, and this is going to ruin him. And God, it's going to be great.
The whole rooting to be right thing with Cal Raleigh, I think that ship has sailed for me. I'm already. I've got no shot of being. I've already been exposed by cold takes and 75,000 people.
I said something to Sandmeyer and Stretch this week on the sports bit. They like obliterated me. They got so mad at me.
About me? Or no?
No. About Cal Raleigh. I did a terrible job of articulating kind of my thoughts on Cal. And they were like,
you did a terrible job of articulating. Let's see. I've got a little something for you and your audience. I don't know if I can play something off of my computer that will actually come through.
You want to set it up first?
No, there's no setup needed. This is just an old KJ Arntz. While you're taking fun of my old, what do they call it? Cold takes, exposed
freezing cold takes.
Freezing cold takes. While you're making fun of me, just remember that there's two sides to that coin. And yeah, that's right. That's right. I don't know that your listeners
just play the damn audio.
He's going to have to be on. Can you hear this? Media, interviews, probably going to play him 6 innings or 5 innings in the game behind the plate.
No way. He's not going to catch 5 innings. There's just no way. There's no way they're going to catch him 5 innings.
Really?
I mean, that's a ton. And I think the Mariners doesn't the organization have a say in that? Listen, he can play, but he can catch an inning or two. And then we like him to get out of the game.
Would you like to make a friendly wager on your inning or two?
No, I will say he will not catch 5 innings. I'll say that.
Tell you what, I'll give you 5-1. 5-1 on your money. Okay. He's catching in the 3rd inning.
I don't think he'll catch more than 2 innings.
If he's not catching in the 3rd inning, and you're right, he only catches 2 innings, you win 5-1 on your money. You
go less than 5 because the real bet was 5. I think he's going to catch 5.
I think what happens is, from what I've noticed over the years, is they take the hot guy, whoever the hot guy is who's in the headlines, and he plays the most. Now, where is the owner of the freezing cold takes when I need him? Okay, I want to send this by email.
You can't. They don't. They just do it in a tweet. There's no tweet. No, you don't tweet it.
No, I want to send this in an email to the founder of Freezing Cold Takes. 2 innings. 2 innings. Get him out of there. They're going to get him out. He's not going to catch more than 2 innings.
Why would they just make a little tubby Alejandro Kirk catch the entire game? My God, get him in the game.
My favorite part of that quote is 5 innings. That's a ton. Who caught the 5th inning, by the way, in the All-Star game on Tuesday night?
I don't know. Cal freaking Raleigh.
You're buying me my next Pokeball.
I'm in. I'll buy it. You know what? I was just scrolling through the game summary because I'd gone away from the game and I didn't know when he was out. And I'm looking. I'm like, oh God, he got to the 3rd. He's still in. 4th, he's still in. I'm like, oh my God, he made it. That son of a gun. He's right again. So listen, you got that one right.
I was 1 for 2.
Yeah. You're good. So this is what I said that Sandmeyer and Stretch got so angry at me and I, you know what, looking back on it for all the right reasons.
What did you say?
Because I didn't articulate it correctly.
What did you say?
So my take was, I asked them, hey, if they miss the playoffs, does it take away your reaction to Cal's season? And they were like, no, what are you talking about? It doesn't take away anything. And I said, well, it takes it away from me because if he does, and he's already going to put up this historic season, and he's going to set all these records. He's going to break Perez's home run record. He's going to most likely break Mickey Mantle's record for switching home runs. He's just going to put up this phenomenal season. I said the reason it's going to taint it or change it for me is that It's not going to equal to team success, but it's not what I did a poor job of articulating. It's not his fault. I'm going to be angry at the organization.
Yes.
They didn't do enough to help him out.
How could
because I worded it.
How could anybody get angry at that? That's exactly right.
But I worded it poorly to them.
I'm sure
I somehow, of course, because I word everything.
That's a ton.
Because I articulate in a way like I don't think his season's all that great if they don't make the playoffs. And that's not what I was trying to get across. I was just trying to say that if I'm going to look back at this season and go, God, it was a phenomenal season, and I'm going to remember all the great things he did, but then I'm going to go, yeah, but they missed it by a game again. Like, that stinks.
Well, I think it I think the pressure is on the Mariners, and I think they know it. Although pressure has never made them do the right thing before, so I don't know why we would sit here and speculate the pressure is going to make them do the right thing. But come the next few weeks, Puck, it's trade deadline time again, and they've got on their hands the greatest season in catching history. You would feel like they got to do everything in their power and maybe even take on a little bit of salary to make sure that this doesn't go to waste, because I feel like they know that a PR hit is coming in October, in September. If they miss the playoffs again and Cal Raleigh keeps doing, let's just call it a semblance of what he's doing now. I don't think it's fair for any of us, all the kidding aside about me not wanting to be in the home run derby, all the kidding aside, I don't think it's fair for any of us to think that he's going to keep this pace or expect him to keep this pace over the next 66 games. It's not going to happen, and we shouldn't expect it to happen. But if he's just good, he's going to break all the records.
Right.
So the Mariners have got to do something before July, whatever it is, 31st, just to make sure they put their best foot forward and giving this team a chance to take advantage of this historic season that doesn't come around very often.
And I think just and to bring those guys up again, that's their biggest worry. I think that's more Sandmeyer's biggest worry is like, when have they ever done anything? When have they ever done anything where they've gone all in to do something at the deadline? And I think we all share that same opinion. I think all of us is like, this is, I wonder, does Jerry Dipoto walk into this deadline with more pressure before? Does he feel like he needs to do something to save his job? Oh. But then I wonder, because it's 10 years, I don't think he's fearful of his job at all. I not at all.
My answer to Sandmeyer is they never have. Right. But part B of the answer is they've never had this. They've never had this in their lap, this type of season in the Jerry era. And look, maybe I'm the only one distorted enough to think about this. Is there a chance at the end of the season that Cal Raleigh doesn't win the MVP because the team didn't make the playoffs? That everybody and their brother writes nationally, I would have voted for Cal Raleigh. I'm talking about voters now. Voters start writing, I would have voted for Cal Raleigh had the Mariners made the playoffs, but because Aaron Judge's team was in and Cal Raleigh's team was not, couldn't vote for Cal Raleigh. That could happen. That could be sitting in the middle.
That was kind of the basis of my topic that I brought up to him. It was terrible how I articulated it to him. But that was because what I don't want at the end of the year is for him to put up this season in which most people that have covered this sport forever say that's the greatest season a catcher has ever done. But then I want the recognition from all of baseball. And then I want him to win the MVP, because if he does this, he should win the MVP. But if they miss the playoffs, they're going to say what you just said. He won't win it because they didn't make the playoffs. And that's what I don't want to happen. I want him to get all the recognition that he deserves, because I think he's been the best story in baseball, will continue to be the best story in baseball. But they need to make the playoffs for everyone to understand that.
Well, yeah, but it won't, as they would say, Stretch and Sandmeyer, to defend themselves. I didn't see it. I didn't hear it, actually. But I'm sure I can visualize the conversation. What they would say is, but it doesn't take an iota away from Cal's accomplishment.
100%. That's exactly what they said.
If the team doesn't make the playoffs. In fact,
exactly.
you could actually flip it the other way and say it actually makes it more revered and prestigious because he obviously didn't have a playoff team around him, and he still was able to accomplish what he was going to accomplish.
Exactly.
I think the other part to the conversation that's fairly interesting is what is Jerry based on what's available out there? And, since the invent of these 3 wild cards, the problem is, it's the obvious. I'll just be Ron Farrelly here. There's so many teams that make the playoffs now and so many teams that are still in it at the deadline that I would think that the pool of candidates that you could actually acquire becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. But if you consider who's actually really available and you look at the Mariners lineup this year as opposed to other years, my contention is the reason they're in the position that they're in today. We thought, if we started the season, before the season started, you told me that at the trading deadline, they're going to be 6 games over 500, and they're going to be in wild card number 3 position in the American League. If you had said that to me before the season started, I would have said, okay, then starting pitching was really, really, really good. Maybe Julio was okay. Maybe Cal was okay, but starting pitching was really, really good. And the truth of the matter is, they're really not in the position they're in today because of starting pitching, which is, I think, encouraging because I think the starting pitching is coming. Kirby is coming. Gilbert is coming. Woo's been unbelievable. Castillo's been better, I think, than I expected him to be this year. I think he's been really good. So I think it's coming. I think that stretch of starting pitching is still coming, which makes you feel good. I think the reason that they're in the situation that they're in now is because, dare I say it, they've had a little bit more of a balanced lineup. They haven't had that dark black hole in the bottom third of their lineup that they remember year after year. You'd look at 6, 7, 8, and 9 in their lineup, and it would be like at this stage of the season, 182, 194, 163. You'd see a lot of ones. And the truth of the matter is, Ben Williamson's hitting about 260. Dom Calzone's hitting 300 since he came back from Tacoma. He's been great. Cole Young has been fine at 250. They don't have 150. There's a big difference between 160s and 170s and 250s and 260s. Big difference. So they haven't had that real hole at the bottom of the lineup. Long way of me asking, what are they going to acquire? Okay, we want Gino to play third base. You're going to kick Ben Williamson back to AAA. He's hitting 260, playing pretty good defense at third base. Okay, maybe you would for Gino's 30-something home runs at the All-Star break. But really, outside of that, Victor Robles is going to come back in September. Fire alarm. Victor Robles is going to come back in September sometime. I'm not sure what they're really adding at the
first base DH. I mean, that's what it's Ryan O'Hearn, Orioles. It's all the names everyone's talking about. It's Josh Naylor.
So who are you taking off the field? You taking Luke Raley off the field?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay. I tend to think what he's going to do is go get bullpen guys. That's what I think he's going to do before July 31st. I think he sees Brash in the 8th, Munoz in the 9th, and trouble in the 6th and 7th, especially when our starters only give us 5. When they give us 6, we have a little issue in the 7th. We have a big issue in the 6th. I could see him going out and acquiring some real power arms for the 6th and 7th.
What if he has a guy already internally, though, that he can throw in the 6th? What about when Bryce Miller comes back?
Well, who's your 5th starter? Are you happy with your 5th starter right now?
I mean, can you, if you can get through this season with Miller, maybe do, because there's many people who thought this was what Miller's was going to be anyways when he came out, that he was going to be in the bullpen. And I'm not saying you move him there permanently, but if he's not going to have this surgery, he's not going to do this, and you're going to try and run him out there this year again, maybe that's his best option, just at least for this year.
Are you going to know by trade deadline time that Bryce Miller is going to be effective in the 6th or 7th inning?
I agree with you. I think there's no doubt that he's going to add a bullpen arm, and he should. But I don't think that should prevent them from adding another bat. They need to get an upgraded first base.
I kind of like Luke Raley. Am I bad?
They can put Luke Raley still in right. I don't know if Victor Robles is going to come back. I know they say September, but I don't know.
Well, Dom Canzone's in right now. You want to take him off? You taking him off the field against right-handers? Right-handers?
I think you can. Well, okay. If you
against right-handers,
if you leave him in there, then you could have whatever you add there at first base. You could have that at first base, and then you could put Raley at DH.
I guess there's spots. I mean, there's spots, but I don't know.
It's a fun conversation to have. It's going to be crazy the next few weeks. That's for sure. See what they do and see how many teams are in and how many teams are out. Well, I thought the take 2 of Chapter 9 was much better.
I didn't think it was particularly good, though.
I don't think you ever think it's good.
Well, I thought that the octopus thing would go better. I
don't know.
I had high hopes for the pokey conversation. I thought maybe you would engage me. We would talk for 3 or 4 minutes about the whole poke bowl experience and whether you get the imitation crab meat, do you get the spicy, do you get the non-spicy, do you do edamame? I thought you would, I thought the food thing would draw you in a little bit, but kind of like Hotshot Scott on our shows.
I pivoted right away.
I never know what's really engaging to you. You're a hard nut to crack.
All right. We'll let you go. Thank you, sir. I'm glad it went well. I'm glad you're safe.
Phil Mickelson to win the British. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. I'm going to John Rahm. All right. We'll see you next week. There he is, Mitch Levy with us. Mitch Unfiltered. And again, as we didn't mention that before, the full KJ Arntz, Chapter 9, Take 2, will be available to Mitch Unfiltered patrons also on the Puck's Posse page at pucksports.com. During the Daily Puck Drop, we'll give you, 10 minutes or so of it for free, but the full show we'll make available just for Puck's Posse members. That's right. We had to do Take 2. We recorded this morning. There was a fire alarm that went off where he's at, and it was loud. And we tried to get through it. And I wanted to get through it, and I thought it was funny, but listening back to it was just, it was not going to be good. It was not going to be good. So we ended up doing Take 2. All right. So a big thanks to Mitch. And again, pucksports.com, sign up to become a Puck's Posse member. And once we conclude the show today, that will be removed from the live show. And if you want to go back and watch it again, or rewatch it if you came in late, just go to pucksports.com, sign up to become a Puck's Posse member, and you get full access there to the Mitch Unfiltered KJ Arntz that we air every single Thursday. If you are already a Mitch Unfiltered subscriber, you've got access to it no matter what. It will be interesting to see what the Mariners do here as they got a couple of weeks to decide, as they got the second half of the season starting on Friday. And it's, their teams in the American League, they're still very much in it. What they want to add, third base obviously is going to be one of the areas they'll target. First base, DH, that role. Be curious to see what ultimately happens to Harry Ford, especially with them drafting a catcher with their second pick. So there's a lot going on. They are obviously in striking distance, and they cannot come out. And we discussed this yesterday during the episode with Ryan Divish. They cannot come out and lay an egg against Houston on Friday. Just cannot do it. It just would be the worst case scenario for this team and this organization to come out and just look flat against that team. And God forbid they lose 2 out of 3, or even worse, get swept. At minimum, they've got to take 2 out of 3 from this team. At least just send, make up a ground a little bit. Send a message to them that they're just not going to walk away with this thing. Because once and for all, they have got to win this division. And it's there for them to take it. And I agree with Mitch. Mitch brings up a good point. One thing when you look at them this season and where they're at right now at 51-45. A large part of that is due because, well, their catchers had this historic season, has been unreal. But their offense as a whole has been better. We'll do this maybe tomorrow. We'll do the comparison of where they were at last year and where they're at right now. They have improved across the board in everything. I don't think that they are, having not looked at it in about a couple of weeks, I don't think that they are flatlined or worse in any offensive category. They've improved. Now, that bar was pretty low for them, but they have improved almost in everything. And then they've just sustained a bunch of injuries, on their pitching staff. And their pitching staff hasn't been great, but it is, to Mitch's point, is coming back better and stronger than it has been. All right. Jerry Brewer. Caught up with Jerry Brewer early this morning to talk to him about the latest with the NBA, Seattle expansion, and all that. Jerry usually does a good job of kind of calming me down and calming the rest of you down about where we're at right now with the NBA and expansion, because it felt this week, when we talked to Tim Booth, who was down in Las Vegas covering it for the Seattle Times and just did a great job. And I encourage everyone to go read his work at seattletimes.com and the great job that Tim did while he was down there in Las Vegas. It felt like Adam Silver was throwing a lot of cold water on expansion. And it feels like that there was a lot of excitement brewing here in the last, 6 months about Seattle and about an announcement that was going to come up here this week about expansion. We thought we would get something a little bit more than what we were given by Adam Silver this week. So I was like, hey, Jerry, what's your perspective on this? Jerry, of course, a longtime columnist, used to work at the Seattle Times. Of course, we worked together at KJR. Now the lead sports columnist at the Washington Post joins me to offer perspective on what he thinks the NBA is thinking right now about expansion to Seattle. Oh, God, can you change your Twitter handle to that?
I will one day.
Yeah, God, that would be great. All right. Hey, I wanted you on because you're going to I think you have a chance to make me feel a little bit better because I'm kind of glass half empty right now.
Whew.
About this, about Adam Silver going up in hot Las Vegas, and I'm watching his press conference. I'm reading Tim Booth's report from Las Vegas. I'm seeing Bill Simmons shoot everything down, David Aldridge of The Athletic. And it seems like there was this great momentum for expansion. And then all of a sudden, the week prior to this huge meeting in Las Vegas and then his press conference, seems like we're not close to expansion at all. At least that's the impression I got from Adam Silver. Make me feel a little bit better, Jerry. Can you?
I don't know if I can make you feel a little bit better. I will, however, explain that NBA process or pro sports process never works that way. It's never that quick. This was the best case scenario, was that they were going to essentially announce that they're cutting the tape, cutting the ribbon on expansion. And I think don't underestimate what a big deal it is that they're admitting that they're studying it. They're never transparent about what they're doing. And so anything that they're willing to admit on the record, they're probably 3 steps ahead of that in actuality. So I think this is, no, we're not going to have a team by 2027, probably. And that's disappointing. But if you're thinking on a 4-ish year timeline, I think that this is a positive step forward.
So I remember you, me, and Gary Washburn. It was about a year ago. We did this whole thing about expansion, and you had actually a little bit more of aggressive timeline. I think you said like 27, 28. Gary was a little bit more. No, I think he might have said 28, 29, or maybe even 29, 30. What do you think now? Are we looking at that 29, 30 season? Best case scenario now?
Yeah, I think if it were an accelerated pace, you could get 2 teams by 28, 29, but that seems overly optimistic. I think you're talking 29, 30, worst case. Well, second worst case scenario is 30-31. I mean, obviously the worst case scenario is that James Dolan or whatever cohort of owners decide that they don't want to do it and they're able to just muck up the whole process. But I think we're looking at 4 more years without the NBA.
Can this city, do you think this fan base can hold on for 4 more years?
Yes, I do. I think for the truest of the true Sonics fans, it's heartbreaking to think that you just keep getting this carrot that's dangled in your face, and then they just keep moving the carrot along and just seeing, how much you're going to chase it. And sometimes you feel like you're an optimistic idiot, but this is just cold-hearted business. I think what's different now about the NBA than say even when Chris Hansen tried to buy the Kings and move them to Seattle, the entire league is in much better shape. All 30 teams, the way that they do business, the way that they share revenue, the way that the new CBA operates that gives everyone a chance. It's every market feels like closer to the NFL. They feel like they've got a chance, if not to win it all, to be competitive and make a lot of money. And so we had a period within, say, those first 5 to 7 years after Oklahoma City stole the Sonics, where there were 5, 6, 7 franchises that were really struggling. And now those franchises are way more sustainable than they've ever been. And so they're getting greedy. There's also this new collection of owners because everyone has sold their team or transitioned their ownership to younger folks in the family. And so the way that the NBA operates and does business is far different than the one we're used to when David Stern was king of the world.
Financially, do you think the biggest hesitation to this would just be what? Greed? Greed from these owners? The
biggest is greed. It's I don't want to split this 32 ways unless it's something really, really sweet for me. And so there's going to be a lot of discussion. When they talk about, it was interesting that they're not going to do their own expansion committee, that they feel like it's fine between this financial advisory committee and this secondary committee, which is essentially another financial advisory committee. So that clearly tells me it's about money, 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 money. And the question with, first up is Seattle. Second on that list is Vegas. I believe like pushing for a better deal would be Mexico City. And then you throw in, there'll be a couple of other places that they'll consider. But this is all about leveraging the best deal that they can get so that some of these idiot owners are willing to see that long term, this is the direction that the league needs to go. And convincing them that just like what it was in 2008, the league is way different in 25. What it was in 2015, it's way different in 25. And what it's going to be like in 30 is way different than now. And I think one thing that if Adam Silver could unilaterally make this decision, Putt, he would go ahead and do this because I think he understands that the NBA is hot right now, but there are some black holes across the country. And Seattle and the Pacific Northwest is a huge one. When you look at like population growth and how much this area has grown, how vast this area is, and Portland can't hold it. Portland can't take you into Montana and Idaho and take you all the way into BC. You need Seattle and you need that rivalry as well. There are billions of dollars to make, over a decade of time if you brought a team back here.
What do you think of
him? They need
to
look at it that way.
What do you think of him bringing up Portland? Because boy, that was the 2008 playbook right there. He brings up the ownership of Portland, cites that the Moda Center is needs a new arena, and whatever new ownership group comes in there needs to think about that. God, that just felt like if I'm sitting in Portland as a fan going, wait a minute, what's going on? First time we've heard about we need a new arena. And now it just felt like a very much of a hostage situation that league just put Portland in.
Well, that's the playbook of everybody, whether it's MLB, NFL, NBA. They all like to play that game. And I thought that sounded to me more like a message of, we know that there are a lot of interested people in that area. Let's get the right billionaire or the right billionaire group in Portland, understanding that they're going to have to like deal with those civic issues and get an arena done. I think it was more like kind of laying it out for those people more than it was absolutely applying pressure in Portland. They're not going to move. They're not going to move a team from Portland. And if they move a team from Portland, they're not going to move it to Seattle.
I'm just telling you, the biggest fear for those people having worked down there, the biggest fear of that fan base has always been Seattle.
Oh,
always.
It makes sense, right? Like it just goes back to the dynamics of this area and the dynamics of those two cities. But it only makes sense for the NBA to bring that rivalry back.
Sure.
To bring back the natural travel rotation. You know, when you go west, you should be going Golden State, Sacramento, Seattle, Portland on a 4-game swing. And it's crazy how they've bundled it and how weird it is now when you travel, especially for an East Coast team.
If the league is concerned, about splitting, the pie 2 more ways, they're smart business people. Why not relocate 2 teams that are just clearly not going to make it in 2 cities? I mean, there's 3 cities that this league, unfortunately, from a financial standpoint, just is not going to make money.
Well, Memphis and New Orleans being at the top of that list. However, the way that they've structured things now, they're actually viable, even without great local fan bases. And that television contract that they negotiated really puts them in the game. And the fact that it's so much easier for you to build a team now in the NBA that can at least advance 1 round in the playoffs. It gives them a chance. And so they're not in that mindset that they need to contract, even though, I feel like they have 3 really bad non-NBA cities. One of them just won the championship. So
it's terrible. Did you see the parade? The parade,
yeah,
it was a joke. There was no one there.
It's not the same as when Boston wins the championship.
No,
as when LA
any
wins
other
the
city
championship.
wins it.
But financially, you are doing this, robbing from the rich and luxurious and kind of feeding the poor, and like making this a league that functions way more like the NFL, like an NFL light. And in that sense, some of these smaller markets do have a chance.
Did you see what now? I know it's not going to happen, but God, would I just pour the biggest cocktail if it did. The fact is that Barry Trammell, the Tulsa World 2 weeks ago, comes out and says the Oklahoma City Thunder will be sold. That Clayton Bennett and his people are going to sell the team. God, can we just offer them $10 billion? Can someone here, can Bezos come back and just say, we'll give you $10 billion. We're going to give you so much money, you can't turn it down. And we just rip them out of there. We rip them out and we bring them back. God, that would be the funniest damn thing in the world. And if you don't think investing in a professional franchise isn't a wise business move, just understand that Bennett's people bought that team for $350 million. And 17 years later, Forbes is going to evaluate that thing at $4 billion.
It's crazy. And, it makes you wonder also, like, when is the right time to cash out? Because, if the Buss family is cashing out, if the Celtics owners are cashing out, if so many around the league are, do they sense that there's going to be some kind of bubble that's about to burst? And that becomes the question, for Kraken ownership and whatever kind of group they put together. Like, it feels like there needs to be another whale in however they devise this to like really make things work. That becomes a question for them. How much are you willing to pay, not only on an expansion fee, but how much are you willing to negotiate a la University of Washington, University of Oregon, Stanford, Cal, and the ACC. How much are you willing to negotiate to get in, right? Because they're gonna rob from that playbook.
Right.
Like, hey, you can't participate in revenue sharing for X amount of years. You're gonna have to function like a team that's operating at the first tax apron, if not the second. They're gonna do all those things because like the initial deal, like what it costs to get in, is not going to be enough for the James Dolans and some of these other owners. And so what are some of these concessions that are going to be made? And how many concessions can you make before you're setting yourself up for failure when you should be setting yourself up to thrive?
Yeah. And then I wonder this recent news and story about with Tim Lewicki. You know, how much does that now muddy the waters of not only here, but also in Las Vegas? I mean, he's out at Oakview. He's accused to, illegal, I don't know, was it bribery of getting a new arena down in Texas? Oakview was going to be the group that was going to build the new arena. At least it seemed like it was going to be the favorite to build the new arena, partner with LeBron's group there in Las Vegas. And of course, obviously his association here in Seattle. I mean, how much do you think that factors in what happened with him?
Well, I'll go even bigger than Tim, right? Like, I mean, I think there's some level of protection because he's been involved in so many things, with so many professional franchises and entertainment companies, that you're going to protect your league from that kind of a brushback. But I'm going to go bigger than that. And I'm going to say Vegas in general is a big issue, especially if you're looking at expanding, and it has to be two teams at one time. Seattle is ready. Like, I feel there will be, and this is going to really piss you off, Puck. There will be some kind of reports and conversation about Climate Pledge Arena and whether that's perfect for basketball, whether Lower Queen Anne is exactly what they need. There will be that, but I think that's more just going to be discussion. And like, I wouldn't pay much attention to it, but you're going to see it. You're going to roll your eyes. I think ultimately, as someone who's traveled to damn near every NBA arena, Climate Pledge and the footprint and all that, it's not like the Chase Center, but it's fine. And I think they'll ultimately realize it's fine.
Who is that brushback for it? Who is that going to come from? Is that fans? Is that the league?
No, it's going to come from owners in the financial committee when they investigate that arena and its long-term viability for the NBA. It's just going to be a conversation piece.
What could they what would their issue be with it?
I think their issue would be, is it viable for the next 20 years for the NBA and hockey? Are they going to be in a situation 10 years from now in which ownership knows it's going to need a new arena somewhere other than that? They're going to ask that question. They are. And a lot of people who have seen Climate Pledge, who have traveled to a lot of other NBA arenas with these larger footprints and better access, they do have that question. But I'm telling them, I'm like, you need to take a full tour of the place. The place is good, and a place I think is going to age well. And any issues around the arena that you have can be mitigated and have already been mitigated to a large degree. But that will be a conversation piece. But, kind of bringing it back to the larger conversation, their vetting of Seattle will be fine as long as the ownership group is willing to go financially to the place it needs to go to get in. Their vetting of Las Vegas is going to be like, what the hell is this? And how is this really going to work? As much as Adam talks about Vegas being already kind of like the 31st NBA franchise, the idea of who's going to own the team, what's going to happen with the arena situation, What about like the local market and local television when there is not a real local audience in Las Vegas? Not the kind of local audience that the NBA needs. They're a real problem in all of this. And so my greater concern isn't about Seattle individually. It's about Seattle being packaged with Las Vegas. And so Las Vegas, I think, is so unknown that there's gonna be a serious investigation of Mexico City, and there's gonna be an opportunity for some of these other bids to come in that they're gonna highly consider. I do think ultimately that in order to expand, they're gonna want that Vegas market along with Seattle. But the thing that could kill it is just like we feel strong about one, not two. We want to expand to 32.
Mm-hmm.
And that bothers the hell out of me. I
Yeah.
hope somebody can tell these idiots it's okay to expand by one and then wait for the other.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you can sketch it out mathematically. It's
of
happened
course.
before
Absolutely.
in league history with an odd number. It is okay.
All right, last thing. So 20, 30, 31. 30, 31.
I'm gonna say 29-30.
29-30.
I'm gonna say 29-30 because I'm gonna be on the optimistic side.
All right, we'll be fatter and grayer. So cool.
No, I'll just be sexier.
That's right, because you are getting better.
Don't crack, baby.
Don't crack.
I will be gray. I'll probably be bald by then.
Yeah, well,
I'm already bald. I keep
it already bald. What are you talking about?
But by choice.
Yeah, but well,
like if I want to grow a fro, I can grow a fro. It might be like one of them Kobe when he got old, like how the fro was kind of back here.
Where it's
grow Stephen A.
It's way back. That's when you gotta cut it.
Grow Stephen A.
Yeah. Jerry Brewer, Washington Post sports columnist. Follow him online, at Jerry Brewer there on social media. Former, of course, Seattle Times columnist as well. Thank you for doing it, Jerry. I appreciate it.
All right, anytime, man.
So here's the question. I think for a lot of people out there, you hear a timeline, and big thanks again to Jerry Brewer, Washington Post. Follow him on social media at Jerry Brewer. Again, his appearance a part of the whole daily puck drop, both on the YouTube and podcast platforms. 29-30. We've waited 17 years. Now are you waiting 4 more years for an expansion team? And I'm just thinking about it. So my daughter, she's out. She'd be 2 years in college. My son he'll be in high school. Sophomore. Yeah, it's just immensely frustrating. I think what was interesting to hear Jerry, as he talks to people around the league, have the comments he made about climate pledge already. That he said don't overreact to it, but he did say that you're going to hear people, when it comes to talking about the NBA, start to have questions about the arena and the footprint and everything around it. Wasn't that the whole reason we went there? So there wouldn't be any questions about it? So there wouldn't be any issues about it. Now, again, maybe that's just I think Jerry's point was he was just bringing that up because there's going to be owners that are going to look into it. But he did say, don't overreact to it. But why would there be any reaction to it? I thought it was perfect for the NBA. Yeah, it's just it's a drawn out process. It's amazing that it potentially now looks like it's going to be 4 more years or could be, and you're looking at 21 years now, and 17, 18, 19, or 20 or 21 years when it does come back, I don't even know if I guess I'll still be living here, but it's like, at what point, how much longer can people wait, and how much more turnover is there in this city of people that care anymore about whether or not it comes back? It's just, it's one of the worst crimes that's ever happened in professional sports. Continues to be. The fact that this league did not have the foresight to realize what this city was going to turn into, what this city already was, and what this city is going to turn into, what was it going to ultimately become. And you just look at the cities that they're in now. And no completely disrespect to these other towns and cities, and I'm sure they're fine, but Memphis and Charlotte, New Orleans, Oklahoma City, it's just they're not in the stratosphere of what this city is, and ultimately shouldn't be having or hosting NBA teams over ours. So big thanks again to Jerry Brewer for joining us. And as this story continues to develop, I encourage you, Tim Booth, buy Tim Booth there on Twitter and SeattleTimes.com. Tim doing a great job, as always, of covering this story as it continues to develop. And keep an eye on Vegas and see what happens there. And to Jerry's point at the end, like this Vegas thing, like why – I've always wondered this as well, why we are so dependent in this league. And while Seattle is tied to Vegas, that's what worries me as well. Don't like being tied to Vegas. This city should not be tied to them. We should be able to expand by one, have an unbalanced schedule and unbalanced teams. They've done it before. And why they can't do it again while they wait for Vegas to get their act together or another city to get their act together is beyond me. That's what, because everyone here is ready to go. I assume they have behind the scenes an ownership group that's ready to step up in addition to the Kraken group and whoever else it would be. And clearly they've got the arena where Vegas does not have that right now. It's amazing as we transition over to football. Meanwhile, it's a nod there to Jim Moore. Meanwhile, 1 week from today, a training camp is underway for your Seattle Seahawks. Teams are already reporting today and tomorrow, and rookies bounced in yesterday there for the Seahawks. It's just, how do we already get to training camp? God. Jesus, unbelievable. But a week from today, training camp will be underway there at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. So Mike Garafolo, who joins us, of course, every single week, all brought to you by Hartley and Hartley Insurance. We want to get Mike on today, his normal Thursday visit, but it's not quite normal because we had to catch up with Mike earlier today on the phone because he's traveling and was not able to stop and do his normal video with us. So to all of our female viewers and to the male viewers like myself that really like to see his beautiful live face in action, you're not going to get it this week. You will get a wonderful still photo of himself accompanied by myself. But wanted to get Mike on just to preview the upcoming season, get thoughts before everyone reports to camp. Expectations for the Seahawks. It'll be a wild year for Seattle. It really is. I have no idea what to expect. Does anyone? I have no clue how good this team can be or not, and so intrigued what Sam Darnold is going to turn into. But we talk about the Seahawks expectations, year 2 under Mike Macdonald, and the expectations of Sam Darnold. Here's our visit with Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network. Well, we don't get to see his beautiful face because he's traveling, so he's joining us on the phone. And the female audience, which we are big in the female audience, is very sad. I'm going to get a lot of emails today and feedback from our female audience wondering why they can't see Mike Garafolo, who's with us right now from the NFL Network. All brought to you by Hartley and Hartley Insurance, your trusted family-owned insurance experts in the Puget Sound area since 1978. For honesty, fairness, integrity, contact Jamie Hartley, 253-565-8700. Also, Zogs on Fox Island. What a great spot. Grab a cold beer, live music, catch the game. Beautiful sunshine. Visit them on Facebook and Instagram. Mike, I'm disappointed I can't see your pretty face. How are you?
I'm great. I'm driving, so I usually I would stop and pull over. We do it from the car, but I don't have the time today. We're taping stuff early for the show today. We got the meeting early, and I had to be back by a certain point. So yeah, that's why we're going old school here.
It's fine. This is old school radio. I don't mind it. It is amazing. Like, you get caught up, like the NFL season gets over, the Super Bowl, and you're like, oh, it's going to be so long before the season gets back underway. But, I mean, because of the combine and the draft and minicamp and all this, I mean, training camp, it's already here. I mean, I think you and I were talking before we started. I mean, teams are reporting today. The Seahawks get after it next week. Their rookie showed up yesterday. I mean, it's already here.
Yeah. Used to be that the Ravens were the team that had their rookies come in a week early. I think you could bring them in 7 days earlier than your veteran report date. I think a lot of teams have now sort of caught up and done that. So now you got a bunch of rookies in. Chargers veterans were in yesterday. We got a couple more teams bringing their veterans in. So we're back next weekend, the 26th and the 27th, is when we do our NFL Network back together weekend. We wait until everybody's in, and then over 2 days we will be at every single NFL camp, and our coverage is wall to wall. That kicks off our what we call inside training camp, which is our 2 weeks or so of extended coverage of training camps. So yeah, we're into it.
It's amazing how just fast it happens and how fast it gets here. The what are the, as you guys get ready for the season? I mean, there's a gazillion storylines. You guys will go over all of the storylines and what they are and the top players and the top teams and all that one. Let's just keep it hyper focused here with Seattle. What do you think the expectations, as we said a week out, the expectations are for this team heading into year number 2 under Mike McDonald?
Yeah, I mean, look, the teams that you're hearing about in the NFC West are the 49ers and the Rams. A lot of people think the Rams continue the momentum that they had over the second half of the season last year. And a lot of folks say, hey, 49ers had all that stuff go against them last year that a lot of times is year to year. Injury luck, one-score games, one-score games, all those things. Now you've got a softer schedule for the 49ers. So there's a lot of talk about San Francisco going on. Yeah, and here you've got Seattle hanging in there with a new quarterback, with an offseason to really, get this personnel geared toward what they want to do, both offensively and for Mike McDonald's defense as well. And I know that they're kind of sort of okay, fine, underestimate us, right? Have that sense that we're just kind of there with the Cardinals to figure out who's going to be in third place. So I know there's a quiet confidence there. I can't wait to see how the quarterback responds. I mean, to me, the two fascinating spots are Minnesota and Seattle, because you've got Sam Darnold leaving there, and now J.J. McCarthy's got to come in and kind of hit the ground running. And then you've got Darnold saying, hey, that wasn't a blip. That wasn't just because I'm in a dome with great guys around me and an awesome offensive coach. This is the start of my second half, my career renaissance. And I know they feel good about what he did in the spring, the way that he sort of commanded things and took ownership. And now it's got to really take off, starting with training camp when the full pads come up. Because
there's a lot of pressure on everyone, but there's pressure on Darnold to back up what he did in Minnesota. There's pressure on Schneider to this gamble that he took to not bring back Geno Smith, to trade him. This is the second year in a row where they've made a huge decision, first with Carroll, now with Geno. And this has been the one thing since Russell for John is finding who that quarterback is going to be, right? They haven't been able to find the successor to Russell Wilson.
No, and they feel like they've got a good one in Darnold. They feel like it's more like Minnesota was what he should have gotten everywhere he had been before, whether it was Carolina or the Jets, and I know he was a backup in San Francisco. But it's like, well, if you water the seeds that you're planting here, you're going to get a flower to grow. If you're not, and you're doing everything you can to really hurt them, which in a lot of cases some of these teams did early in his career, you're not going to get the results. It's Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl against Tampa Bay the one year where he was just had horrible protection up front and was still somehow making plays. That's not every quarterback. That's not most quarterbacks. That's maybe only one quarterback. Sam Darnold did not have the support around him and struggled a bit. And now it's like, okay, we feel like we can capitalize on some of the things that they did last year in Minnesota. And I know he's got to play well himself. It's not just, what's happening around him. It's him himself. And I know he's eager to prove that the last couple of games that did not go well, that he can make amends for that, albeit in a new uniform here.
We've talked about him a lot, and training camp will roll around. He'll make some plays. I always want to call them spring training games, the preseason games. I always want to do it. Baseball is so much on my mind. How about Cal Raleigh, by the way, huh? The big dumper, just putting on a show for the rest of the country. Unbelievable. He has got a big ass, though, doesn't he?
I don't know. Does he? I said the big dumper. Is that literally? I honestly hadn't heard the nickname. I'd seen what he was doing, and I didn't the nickname till this past couple of days here, and I was kind of trying to figure out. I guess I sort of does, but I feel like a lot of guys do, right? It's in scouting terms, it's called a bubble. So a lot of times you'll read a scouting report in the NFL, and they'll say, I wouldn't say big bubble, but like some kind of indication that like he's got mass there, which helps you move people.
Sure.
I feel like I was looking at it and I didn't notice anything too crazy, but maybe I'm looking at the wrong pictures.
Okay, Jalen Milroe. Have you heard anything from inside the building, just how they feel about him? Obviously, they feel great. They drafted him, but since they drafted him, his time there in the mini camp and perhaps the excitement around him moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have he's going to bring an element of excitement that, it's what Percy Harvin was sort of supposed to bring to the offense and did for a little bit of time, right? Just that kind of thing that's hard to plan for, and you can plan for it all week, but it looks a little bit different when you see it live. Granted, this is at the quarterback position, not the wide receiver position, but it's that type of thing that they really haven't sort of had. I mean, Pete always wanted to run the football and then kind of throw off of that, but this is a different element that they're going to bring. And I know you and I have talked about what it's going to mean for Darnold if he struggles a little bit. People are going to say, well, have Milroe come in, and there's so many comparisons to Jalen Hurts, and look what he's been able to do. And if you foster that, they're two different guys in my mind, but that was the initial plan in Philadelphia. It was to have Hurts be sort of a package type of guy. You're going to see that from Milroe. He's going to add that excitement. They feel good about it. Do they unveil it right away, or is it something later in the season? I still don't know the answer to that one. I think maybe you sort of get into week one and you're more standard, and then you kind of use that as a curveball later in the year. But we're going to see it in the preseason, and we're going to see it. I mean, we won't see the full package of plays. We'll see him play at a traditional quarterback spot in the preseason, but we'll see some stuff in training camp. And look, that honestly, going back to what I just said, in the spring, people are out there. It's every third OTA that is open to the media. Guy struggles a little bit, or some guys make plays, and like that becomes the perception of what's happening day in and day out. Not necessarily the case, but with training camp, it's wide open. The fans are putting out stuff just as much as the media is every single day. So I think it's going to be an interesting time for Darnold and for Jalen Milroe, because they're going to put some stuff out there that people are going to see, and that's going to lead to the excitement. But does it also lead to the conversation that drove McDonald crazy in the spring with the thought of could Sam Darnold not be the quarterback? Like, no, he's going to be the quarterback, but I just wonder if some of that conversation is going to continue and some noise around the situation.
Okay, we're going to give you full credit if you nail this. If you don't nail it, we won't acknowledge it at all. Who is a team going in? What's a team that's maybe under the radar right now that could surprise some folks this upcoming season?
How about the Dallas Cowboys? As much under the radar as they could be.
They're not under the radar.
Because they're the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Well, under the radar from the standpoint of everybody saying 7-10 or so.
Okay, all right.
To me, I wouldn't be surprised if they flipped with the Commanders, and you saw the Commanders struggle a little bit, and Dallas is the one pushing the Eagles for the top spot in the division. Because I think the Eagles got to come back a little bit too as well. So I think this NFC East race is going to be a little bit tighter. So I think Dallas is the team that a lot of people are selling short right now. And I could see them being the one. I like Brian Schottenheimer. I think he's got the right demeanor to be the coach of the Cowboys, to handle that market, to handle that team. So, yeah, give me Dallas. And I don't care that you don't think they're under the radar, because I think they are.
Thank you for doing
it. But you're never going to be under the radar as the Cowboys.
You can't be under the radar. They're on TV every single day on the screaming shows.
But I took under the radar to mean who is the team that is being underestimated.
Okay.
So that is my team for being underestimated. And I honestly, we spend so much time talking about all these teams the entire spring that I'm like, there's nobody underrated because we hit on everybody, right? Like we talked about the Jaguars. We talked about the Bears with Ben Johnson. I think the Bears, honestly, could be the team that is the first-year coach. I know everybody's looking at Vrabel and the Patriots to be the first-year coach that makes the team and makes the playoffs. I think that the Bears are going to be that team that has the first-year coach that makes the postseason. Maybe they're under the radar. You tell me. I like the Bears to surprise.
Okay. Thanks for doing it. I appreciate you carving out some time. Safe travels.
You got it, dude. I'll be back next week smiling. How about that?
Love it. There he is, Mike Garafolo, with us earlier today. We caught up on him. He was traveling around, getting ready for the start of the NFL season with training camp. Actually, he's underway. I think I just saw this. The Chargers are already practicing right now. They are the I don't know if they're the first team getting it on, but Jesus, man, unbelievable. The Seahawks will get started next week, and they will be in full force starting there at the VMAC, which is just amazing that the NFL season is already here. If you are joining the live show today and then now watching or listening back, just keep in mind that when we do the KJ Arntz show with Mitch Levy, that is only the full show, only available for Puck's Posse members. So sign up today at pucksports.com if you want to go back and watch or listen to the full Chapter 9. Yeah, it was a second taping of it because the first taping got screwed up because of a fire alarm at Mitch's place. And but we will give you a portion of it during today's daily puck drop on the podcast, both on YouTube and your podcast platforms. All right, let's wrap it up with Hey What the Puck, which of course is always brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle, your restoration company that lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Guys, they're going to take care of you. 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. Speaking of that, I am wildly optimistic about the Seahawks this year. I like the great unknown. I like not having an idea of what exactly the team is going to be. Fretting about the things maybe that they're deficient at. I think the wide receiver room is going to be something we may look back at the end of the season and go, okay, fine. I understand why maybe they got rid of DK Metcalf. There were some other things there, but they didn't properly replace him. So I think that wide receiver room is a concern, and we'll save the tape at the end of the year. If it's not, we'll play it back. I'm excited about the offensive line. Super jacked for Gray Zabel and what his addition means to help out that entire group. How a healthier Abe Lucas look. For Sam Darnold, I don't know how you can't be just so massively intrigued to see what he does. Because either it's one of the greatest reclamation projects, comeback story, or was it just a quick, blimp on the radar, and all of a sudden he resorts back to what he was before the start of his career. I always go back to there's an image of Sam Darnold coming into the Vikings locker room, and they're just his teammates are going crazy for him, throwing him on their shoulders. I think he is so well liked. I think he is the type of kind of humble leader. We've talked a lot about that with Cal, kind of the humble leader that you need. He kind of fits that. He's got to deliver on the field because this quarterback, not quite purgatory they've been in, because I don't think Geno Smith we weren't in purgatory with Geno Smith. You can have your issues with Geno, but Geno did a great job at times. And so, can they find this answer that they've been searching for, since they traded Russell Wilson away? So there's that storyline. I've always been intrigued by Jalen Milroe. We talked about, even going back a year ago, about Jalen Milroe on this program. And at that time, that was because of the connection with Washington and Alabama with DeBoer and Ryan Grubb. If Ryan Grubb was going to be the offensive coordinator again, knowing what system they ran at Alabama, would Milroe make sense for them here? So I can't wait to see him. Can't wait to see him, not so much in training camp, but in the preseason games, because he's just keeps saying it, broken record. He's going to do something that's going to wow everyone. I think the defense is going to be better. It's going to be faster. It's going to be younger and hungrier. But we got to see the defense. You know, I know there's a lot of people that are overly excited about where the defense is and what it can be. And I agree with it. I share that excitement. I do think, though, I want to see the defense perform against some of the top teams this year, because last year they were benefited by some games against teams that just weren't good offensively. And it raised them up of how we view them defensively. When they got to teams that were good offensively, they didn't stop them. So I do want to see where Mike Macdonald goes with that group there in year 2. But super excited about it. I mean, I am, because the excitement of it is that there's just so many unknowns of what this football team can be. And as Garafolo talked about, so much buzz has been about the Rams and the Niners, and Seahawks kind of been a little bit of an afterthought. So, and I love the over. Was it 7.5 wins for Vegas? Yeah, take the over. All right. That's Hey What the Puck, brought to you by Restoration One in North Seattle. Your restoration company lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when those damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. Thank you for watching and listening today. Thank you to all the sponsors, Limback Lumber, also Zogs on Fox Island, Hartley and Hartley Insurance. I'll thank John Howie Steak as well. Brad Adam wasn't with us today, and I failed to mention why Brad wasn't here. Brad's on vacation. It's All-Star break. We gave him some time off. But Brad will be back with us next week. Also, thank you to Restoration One. Today's Daily Puck Drop for the video. Find it up on YouTube. When you're there, please subscribe to the channel, like the channel, leave a comment. Try to get to as many as we can. Also, for you audio users, the Daily Puck Drop is on your favorite podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify. Doesn't matter which program you like. They all goes to the same place. One-stop shop would be pucksports.com. When you're there, please sign up to become a member of the Pucks Posse. $5 a month. You support all the free content that we do. Plus, in addition to that, you get VIP and bonus shows like our MLB Insider, Ryan Divish, the Sports Pit with Steve Sandmeyer, Matt Stretch Johnson, Thursdays, visits with Mitchy the Kid, Mitch Unfiltered podcast. And, of course, now we produce the Garage with Gas Take 5 podcast. New episodes every Monday. Check it out on YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for always supporting. We'll talk to you tomorrow on a Friday's show. Chris Egan, Jim Moore, I think he's back home, and a visit with the Scout. And we'll talk to the Scout about his thoughts on what the Mariners did in the MLB draft. All right? We'll talk to you tomorrow. As always, promise me better.
No shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for?
We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!